Can bring ourselves to this incredible practice that we are gifted by so many wise people before us, gifted to me by the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, because I thought I couldn't meditate, because every time I tried, I was a bad meditator. And then I learned that's judgment. And that's one of the things that we learn to do in mindfulness practice is not judge our practice. Right? So that was a huge, huge learning for me, which has continued to unfold and has helped me tremendously. So that's really what mindfulness is about. It's about non-judgment. And meditation is not, I always thought meditation meant you stop your mind and you stop thinking. And that was the goal. And, learning to do it by doing it, you learn that's not the goal, of course. The goal is to notice when we're thinking and to return the attention purposefully, gently, respectfully, and lovingly to whatever your focal point is. The heart space, we were taught with the breath because the breath is always there. So, if that is where you continue to return your attention, you don't have to imagine it. It's there, it's happening. So we were taught to return our attention to the sensation of the breath entering and leaving the body. So to do that, we need to find our posture for today, whatever that is for you. Some of us take a habitual posture because it starts to trigger, as soon as we sit like that, it starts to trigger the mind and the body that we're here to practice. And whatever your posture is, we're going to bring our attention fully into the body. We're going to give our mind an assignment to help it start to calm down. We had a lovely conversation during Torah study, and now we start to give the mind an assignment to allow it to relax. So we engage the mind so that we can expand the mind. So we're going to give the mind the body of bringing ourselves fully into our physical expression. And we do that first by becoming aware of our physical self. So just do a scan. Just notice anything that's happening in the body. Anything that you become immediately aware of. We just notice. We're going to bring our awareness to our feet, wherever they are in the world. If they're tucked underneath you, crossed. If you're not sitting on crossed legs, we invite you to uncross. We uncross so that we can allow the flow of blood and oxygen, as well as what many wisdom traditions call the life force, energy, whatever works for you as a metaphor, as a word. So we become aware of the feet in contact with the floor generally. Or if they're crossed underneath you, just be aware of them. And we invite the feet to relax. All those tiny bones in the feet that work so hard to keep us balanced and move us through the world. We take for granted how much work goes on just to keep us upright. We were not designed to be bipedal. We got there quicker than we were supposed to. And so our legs and feet do a lot of work to keep us upright. Beneath the feet is the floor. You become aware of the floor, and underneath that's the ground. Manorah hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this makom, this place, this moment, this breath. So feeling the feet against the floor, we become aware of the ground, the earth, the planet underneath where we are. This makom, this place. Grateful for the safety of this physical space. Coming out of Sukkot, out of being in the vulnerable, fragile sukkah, we move back into our homes, back into awareness of how privileged we are to have shelter and safety. Connecting through the tender part of the feet, the soles of the feet. We can reach for the energy at the center of the planet, all of that molten fabulousness. And one teaching is to imagine pulling that into the feet. We relax the ankles. And we can imagine drawing that relaxation and that energy into the calves and the shins, allowing it to warm and relax all that tissue, all those muscles. Softening the connective tissue. You can become aware of the knees and any sensation in the knees, just allowing it to be. We try to move away from language of pain or pleasure and just understand things as sensation. The other things that didn't have time to adapt when we became bipedal, our knees, they do so much work. Drawing that energy and awareness into the thighs, the large muscles of the legs, that are designed to take the shot of cortisol when we are stressed, to help us fight or flee or hide or freeze. Relaxing those muscles allows the body to carry those stress chemicals out of those large muscles in the legs. Relaxing the IT bands, the hamstrings, all of those things that tighten. We invite them to soften and release. We become aware of the sit bones, noticing our weight in the chair or against the floor. Kaved, heavy. Kavod, glory, presence. They are related in Hebrew. One derives from the other. Respect. Kavod is from acknowledging our weight in the world, that we matter, that we are matter. Sensing our weight in the chair or against the floor, wherever you're sitting. You begin to expand through the lower back and hips, creating more interior space. Softening, opening. Releasing the lower back. And around the front to the belly. We spend a lot of time holding, sucking it in. What Rabbi Yael Shai calls soft belly, which if any of you have a dog, you know something about the trust it takes for them to show you soft belly. When we soften the belly, we acknowledge that we're safe, that we're okay being vulnerable right now. Tender. We relax the mid-back and the rib cage, the intercostal muscles between the ribs, around front to the diaphragm. Aware of the organs, grateful that all of them are working well enough for us to be here and conscious. We give them a gift when we relax. There's more oxygen in the blood when we relax. Blood that is more healing. Blood that can scrub the organs of the junk and works on repair only when we're relaxed. Noticing, does the breath change at all as we relax the torso? We relax the upper back, around front to the chest, setting our intention of opening at the chest, letting our awareness rest in the heart space. Just noticing anything that we're feeling. We're coming out of Sukkot. The etrog is the symbol for the heart. That beautiful citron. Notice what's happening in there. Without a big story, without needing to get caught up in it, we just acknowledge our feelings. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Imagining the shoulder blades drawing down the back body. Feeling the weight of the upper arms and the forearms. Noticing the hands being still. They're generally in constant motion. We just explore stillness. Letting the neck be long, the head balancing on the neck. Relaxing the jaw, where some of us hold a lot of tension. Relaxing the face and the brow and the scalp. Letting the eyes be soft in the head. And finally, relaxing the ears, which means relaxing our attachment to sound. Allowing sound to be. And anytime it's distracting, one invitation is to use it as a cue to go deeper. To the nikuda pnimit, the most internal point. We set an intention of opening at the crown of the head, becoming aware of the sky and how much is past that, and how much is past that, and how much is past that. Grounded, rooted, open, relaxed, and alert. We take a moment to sit, exploring silence and stillness. This Shabbat, we come to the end. We come to the end of the agricultural cycle. Come to the end of Sukkot, the end of our festivals. We come to the end of the Torah. We've ended a Jewish year. We take a moment to reflect this Sukkot, this having come through high holidays, what it is we're ready to leave in the past. We've done all the rituals. We've done all the observances, said all the prayers. What are we ready to truly release? We're moving into winter, moving into the time where nothing grows in ancient Israel. The cold, the dark. But it is during that season that the rain will fall, that will result in crops in the spring. And for the ground to receive that rain rather than it becoming flash floods, we have to soften the ground. So as we begin the new year, we begin it entering into the fallow season of darkness and cold. But this is the time where things are happening underground that we don't see. So we take a moment to intentionally plant now what we want to nurture and have grow during the rainy season. We don't have to do anything about it right now. Just hold with loving intention and attention what you want to see grow in your life this year or just this season. What do you want to nurture? Sukkot is celebrating what's going to carry us through that winter. We're asked to trust. Growth will happen if we set our attention and our intention. Our work is to stay soft. So that that which nurtures the stuff underground gets in. In our Parsha, Moshe climbs the mountain to be alone with the divine at his moment of death. Rabbi Shafak writes, all of the small spiritual deaths we suffer, all of our griefs and losses point to the fact of our physical death, which will ultimately and definitely happen to all of us. Instead of walking through our lives in denial, we can use the power of the reality of death to turn towards God, turn towards the deliciousness of life's precious gifts, turn towards each other in compassion and friendship. To whom do you want to turn? To experience life's delicious gifts. To a part of yourself that you've split off and sent away or left in the shadows. To someone who's gone, who was a model, an example, a teacher for you. Or someone you sense in your life right now that you know, if you turned toward them in compassion and friendship, you would grow. Moshe's response to facing his own death is bracha, blessing. Death doesn't have to be literal. As we face the end of a year, the beginning of a new year, entering the season of fallow, to whom do we want to offer bracha, our blessing? And now I'm going to ask us to do what's sometimes hard for us, to offer blessing to someone who's hurt us, or to an aspect of ourselves that brings us pain or shame. Truly wishing them well. Feeling the release that comes with offering blessing, where we usually experience resentment, anger, blame. Coming into touch with our awareness of our fragility through Sukkot, the end of the agricultural season, the death of Moshe, coming into awareness of our own being finite. We can breathe into the pleasure, the grace, the wonder of being alive right now. I'll close our sit with the words of Stephen Levine. There is a grace approaching that we shun as much as death. It is the completion of our birth. It does not come in time, but in timelessness. When the mind sinks into the heart and we remember. It is an insistent grace that draws us to the edge and beckons us to surrender safe territory and enter our enormity. We know we must pass beyond knowing and fear the shedding, but we are pulled upward nonetheless through forgotten ghosts and unexpected angels, luminous. And there is nothing left to say, but we are that, capital T. And that is what we sing about. That is what we sing about. There is a beginning and an end, and then a beginning again. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in again. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. We end and we begin again.